Nyari Galawagan Mari Budia Gadi Nurda. We meet together on the beautiful Gadi country, and I'd like to pay respects to elders past, present and emerging. As you walk into Sydney Law School, you'll see a plaque. On that plaque, Justice Benjamin Cardozo said, "The law, like the traveller, must be ready for the morrow." I like that sentiment because that sentiment expresses what we're trying to do at Sydney Law School. We're trying to equip our students not only to be legal practitioners today, but also to be equipped for the amazing and diverse careers they pursue tomorrow in their future. The benefits of Sydney Law School are not only that you will get exposed to some of the best legal minds in the teaching staff. Your peers at Sydney Law School are an amazing group of students that come from all over Australia, but also all over the globe. So come with me and let's go and have a chat with those inspiring legal minds.
My name's Kathleen Heath. I graduated from Sydney Law School in 2014, and at the moment I've just started out as a barrister. Before that I was working at the Aboriginal Legal Service over in Perth.
I'm Adam Herman. I'm in the class of 2021, currently working as a paralegal at Afterpay and about to start a clerkship at Herbert Smith Freehills.
Hi, I'm Alex Solo. I'm a graduate of Sydney Law School from 2013. I'm currently the co-founder of Sprint Law, which is an online law firm for startups and small businesses.
Kat,
Yes.
tell me about your background.
So I graduated from Sydney Law School now in 2014, which was like a lifetime ago. So since that time I went over to the US, I did my master's over there. I've worked in the courts, but I've spent most of my time post-university working at the Aboriginal Legal Service in Western Australia.
Adam, tell me a bit about yourself and your journey.
I started here at Sydney Law School back in 2016, which again also feels like a lifetime ago. During my time here, I've been overseas a number of times, which in and of itself is a fantastic experience. I currently work at Afterpay, and I'm about to move into a clerkship at Herbert Smith Freehills this summer, so it's very exciting.
Alex, so you have certainly been taking your law in new and innovative directions. Tell me a bit about how you ended up in that way, and what Sydney Law School means to you in that journey.
Graduated back in 2013. When I was at uni, I started like a small side business that I was running, but I had a clerkship at Clayton Utes, so then I went and sort of worked as a technology lawyer for a few years, and the whole time sort of had the entrepreneurial bug that had bitten me from back when I was at uni. In 2017 I sort of left Clayton Utes to start a online tech-enabled law firm for startups and small businesses. What we do is we provide online legal services for small businesses in Australia and recently as well in the UK. And our whole goal is to sort of use technology to automate a lot of the aspects of legal services that are quite routine, and so then we have lawyers still working in the business but focusing a bit more on the higher order type stuff.
You know, what skills do you think your law degree provided you?
To do what I'm doing now, there is a subject matter element in that it's in the legal industry, and I'm combining both. But it's certainly the case that in many ways you don't realise the impact of the learnings you have at university straight after you graduate. And I think, at the time it was learning about the subjects that I did, getting that sort of subject matter expertise that allowed me to practice as a lawyer. It's been the case that there's a lot of skills that I got at Sydney Law School. Some of them are just work ethic, networking, being able to solve complex problems that are way beyond something you've ever conceptualized before. And that level of sort of excellence that is kind of demanded at Sydney Law School to survive is the same sort of drive that you need to do entrepreneurial stuff when you don't really have a boss, you're just your own boss.
The key thing that comes out of that answer is confidence.
It's a great environment because on one hand, I think Alex is right, it does demand excellence and you do work really hard to know that you're at a certain level, but at the same time it's a very supportive environment. So you could, do badly in a moot and then come back again the next time round and be very supported and have academics who are supporting you and have that safe learning environment, and that means that when you do go out into the real world, so to speak, you've got something behind you.
So it is that, in a sense, creating a safe space where you have permission to fail, but more importantly to learn. I'm sure not much has changed in terms of the demands of the degree. But tell me about what are the things that support you through it?
It's all about the people, and by that I also mean students, in addition to obviously the academic teaching staff. I feel like that camaraderie definitely is there still and always will be.
What advice would you give someone as they're thinking about entering their legal education?
It's about a wider variety of skills about thinking. The way that law school works at Sydney was very much focused on, teaching us to think about the concepts behind whatever things we were learning. Here are some concepts, think about them, think critically about them, and often you find yourself after class a bit inspired and discussing with other students these ideas. And I think I sort of discovered what education was about, really. I would have said to myself, particularly in those early years, that look for something a little bit more here. It's not just about marks, but it's about the whole experience, the people and the environment. At Sydney Law School, it's the case that you're around basically a cohort of just super, super smart people. It really kind of lifts you up, and I think that's another aspect of it.
So Sydney University just provides a great springboard. I think that without my background at Sydney University, I wouldn't have had the further opportunities I did end up having to study over in America. After I finished up at Harvard, I went and worked in St. Louis and got to work at a very grassroots legal organisation there. And just to see a different legal culture, and then to have a chance to come back to Australia and look at our legal system and say, are we doing things the best way here? There's so much that we have to learn from other jurisdictions.
You're a current student. Tell me about some of the opportunities that you get.
In my 4 years here at law school, I've gone overseas 3 times. Those are really distinct, I think, experiences that really sort of punctuate my experience here at university.
How did you fund that? Was there assistance there?
It wouldn't have been possible if it wasn't for the support. Every single time I went overseas, I received an automatic scholarship. At the very least, it would pay for my flights, pay for a little bit of my accommodation, and then really all I needed to pay for was, food and other spending money.
We've recently launched in the UK. It's been very useful in terms of adapting a business over there and getting to know how law is done in the UK.
I think that is very much in the Sydney DNA. You should be a traveller to learn about law in different places. Out there in the world, there are perceptions about places like Sydney Law School. What would you say to them about that perception and your experience?
There's a diverse array of people in law school. There's a lot of different people. Often they're the smartest people from all around, various parts of Australia, and some from overseas as well. Just in that mix, you get exposure to all kinds of different types of people, and I've made heaps and heaps of lifelong friends from my time at law school who are from all kinds of different backgrounds and all kinds of different personalities, and a lot of them are working in all kinds of different areas that have nothing to do with what you might associate with the sort of elite areas of law.
I think it's really important to realise that law is not and should not be about elitism. We talk about going overseas, but actually there's so much important legal work to be done in Australia. And if people are at the point where they need a lawyer, usually they're not at a good point in their life. There is so much important work to be done, and I think if you want to come to Sydney Law School and use it as a platform to get into practical work on the ground, grassroots work, working in remote parts of Australia, then it's a wonderful way to get into that style of work as well.
Tell me a bit about how you've remained in contact and, as we would now say, network.
Well, it's been actually hugely important to me, sort of doing things far away from the Sydney Law School community. And only recently I came back and started as a barrister back in New South Wales at Morris Byers Chambers. My very first brief was from a friend at law school. Amazing how as soon as I came back to Sydney, it's like the network just sprung into action. It sticks with you. It's a really strong foundation.
I suppose it would be a good question, Alex, to what extent did the cohort provide a good support network?
Network wasn't a thing on my radar as a thing I should be doing. I was making lots of friends, but then I don't think I would have had any of the success I've had without that network. It feels like I know someone now who's somewhere in every industry. Anytime I need something, I can just kind of look up the network. You see all these young people trying to network with the partners at the big law firms, but they're missing the point. For the rest of their life, it's their peers that are going to be the people they should be in touch with.
Maybe it's a good way to round off the conversation with Adam, and you have not yet chosen your path, where you might end up over the next 10, 20 years.
I think the jobs from 20 years from now aren't going to look anything like the jobs that that we've got today, and you've got to adapt over the next 10 to 20 years. And if there's one thing that I've learned here at law school, is the fact that you have to adapt so quickly. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what's out there in the next 20 years and sort of seeing what I can do with my degree.